Hello, this is the Watchdog, and welcome back to Fun with Watches. If watches weren't fun, you'd only need one. Today we're going to review the Pagani Design PD1726 Limited Edition. Today is Father's Day, so congrats to all the dads out there. And this is also, I've hit 500,000 views total for my channel, and I've also hit 2,000 subscribers. Let's start out with the wrist check. I'm wearing a Sanda 6016. And Greg was wearing my Laogeshi 1818. Grogu said Ben Solo got in a fight with another one of the younglings at the Jedi Academy. He told the kid, "Yo mama's so fat that someone thought Jabba the Hutt was back from the dead." The kid fired back, "Yo mama's so force insensitive that instead of midi-chlorians, she has mini-chlorians." Alright, let's take a look at the watch. It comes in a typical Pagani Design box, which is kind of surprising since it's a limited edition. You think it would have came with a box that indicated it was a limited edition, but it does not. Then it also, nothing about limited edition in the user manual or unsigned warranty card. But here's the watch. Now, isn't this a nice looking watch though? I really like the looks of it. When I saw this Pagani Design on AliExpress, I knew I had to review it. This is an odd watch as the dial hands and bezel insert scream Seiko, while the case, bezel, edge, and bracelet scream Rolex. It's almost like somebody modified a Submariner to look like a Seiko instead of the other way around. This is basically a PD1661 with a different look. This is also a limited edition, but there is no numbering on the case back or packaging indicating how many were made, so you'll have to take their word for it. This also uses the NH36 and has a day-date complication, which is a very Seiko thing to do. However, unlike Seiko, there is no attempt to make a day-date Cyclops. The red, white, and black colors are the only option. These colors are also the flag colors of Yemen, Egypt, and Angola, although I am sure that was not the intent. I kind of wish they would have replaced the black with blue. The ad for this watch features a video with a white guy with a sports car and his hot girlfriend both wearing this watch, and then says Pagani Design Thailand. Not sure if that means it is made for Thailand because their flag colors are red, white, and blue, not black. And you would have thought they would have used Thai actors in their ad. Maybe Pagani Design opened an office in Thailand and this is their first design? Who knows? The watch is 40 millimeters at the bezel, 47.6 millimeters lug to lug, and it has protruding end links. It's 14 millimeters thick if you count the dome crystal. Has a 20 millimeter lug width and weighs 147 grams on the supplied bracelet with 2 links removed. The bezel is a 120 click unidirectional. The bezel action's a little light, but the clicks are good and solid. I've definitely felt a lot worse, and there doesn't seem to be a lot of back play, just a little bit. And it looks like it lines up good enough. A little bit off, but not much. The bezel insert is white with a black ascension phase. In typical Seiko style, it's a 20-minute ascension phase, where if it was a Rolex style, it would be a 15-minute ascension phase. And then the insert has a glass covering, not sapphire covering, it's glass. I tested it. So, but it's nice looking. Once again, I just wish it was navy blue instead of black, but it still looks nice as black. Then we have this inner chapter ring, which is red and black. So it's got red for the main phase and black for the ascension phase. So that red's a nice contrast. I think it looks better having the red there than if it would have been white to match the bezel. So yeah, I like that red there. And then the dial is fully lumed, and so there's no sunburst effect. I imagine the lume itself would prevent that. And then we have applied indices, and as you see, they are Seiko style. They are not Rolex style. They got these little tips on the majors. And they're also not batons. They're more like ovals. And the triangle has curves on the corners. Then we have the Pagani Design name and logo up top. The name is printed, but the logo is applied. Then it says Japan movement on the bottom, because this is an NH36 movement. Designed by Seiko, but more than likely made by TMI or SII, which is a Seiko subsidiary. Then the hands, we have the arrow tip of, which once again, these hands look like Seiko hands and not Rolex hands. And these hands are loomed, although the loom of the hand isn't very strong. Technically, the hands don't need to be loomed because the dial's loomed, so you see the hands just by the fact that the contrast of the dial. But they are loomed just a little bit. And then there's also this second hand, and this is kind of like that Seiko stoplight design, except for it doesn't have the red, but that is loomed also. And this being an NH36, we have a day date at the 3. And there is no Cyclops, which is good. I don't think anybody likes the oval Cyclops of a day date. One thing I want to show you too about this day date, let me move it, is the language. Oops. Usually the language is the Chinese for the second day, but this one is the Spanish. That makes it a little bit more flexible for North and South America and Europe. Then we have a Lume crown, believe it or not. You can't tell now, but you'll see in my Lume test later. It's a screw down. And surprisingly, the threads seem rather short. It doesn't take very many turns for it to come out, and it pops, really pops. And it doesn't take very many turns to screw it back down. And then we have a dome sapphire crystal. I would say it sticks up pretty much above the bezel. I don't know if you would call this a box crystal or not. No, but it's got a pretty good dome to it. And as you can see, there's some distortion there, so it's not a double dome. And I don't know if there's any AR coating or not, but it seems to not reflect the light too bad. You can see through it just fine. And once again, it is sapphire, but this bezel insert is not. And the display case back is not sapphire either, so it's not a sapphire sandwich. Then the case is solid stainless steel. This is Submariner style. And it's brushed up top, polished on the sides, and brushed on the bottoms. And it's got some crown guards. They don't stick up too much though, so the crown doesn't, it barely protects the crown. Then we have a screw down display case back, and it says 100 meter water resistant because that's all you get, which is the same as the PD1726, their sub-homage. Then it says Pagani Design stainless steel, and that's it. It also gives the model number, but once again, this is a limited edition, so there's no mention of how many were made or which one this is. So you kind of have to take their word for it. It's a limited edition. In fact, so if this is a limited edition and they quit making it, the ads, they're going to eventually sell them all, and then the ads are going to disappear on AliExpress, and then how will you ever know it's a limited edition? It's kind of odd that they don't have any paperwork or anything indicating that. Then underneath the case back is the NH36 movement. This is basically the same movement as the NH35, but it has the day complication as well as the date. You don't see the NH36 a lot on AliExpress land. Most of them stick with the NH35. This is a 24 jewel movement that hand winds hacks and has a bidirectional rotor. And they're usually pretty accurate right off the shelf. So let's put it on the time grapher and find out. Here it is on the time grapher. It looks like we're running about 8 seconds fast. And we have a little bit of beat error. The amplitude's kind of low. But 8 seconds, I'll take it. It's always nice on a hacking movement to be fast rather than slow, because the set your watch, all you got to do is hack it, wait for time to catch up, and you're done. Unlike if the watch is slow, then you actually have to move the hands. The bracelet is a 3-link oyster style, and the center links are brushed, not polished. And I prefer it that way. I think it's just a nicer look to be all brushed. But the edges are polished, and that's pretty typical. And this is not fully articulating. The center links are attached to the side links. And then once again, we have protruding end links, and they are solid. And then we have the Rolex style clasp. Then this clasp has the Easy Link system. I have found with Pagani Design clasps, their Easy Link isn't always easy. Sometimes it takes quite a bit of effort to undo the Easy Link, and quite a bit of effort to push it back in. Let me show you this before I push it back in too. One annoying thing too about Pagani Design clasp is the fact that to use the micro adjust, you only have one slot here to push the spring bar, so it can be kind of awkward and difficult. I really wish they would upgrade to some kind of glide lock system if they're going to stick with these Rolex style clasps. Once again though, since this was not truly a Rolex homage, this was more of a Seiko style, I wish they would have just put a different clasp on this. There was no need to stick with Rolex style. And like I said, it takes quite a bit of effort to push it back into. Not an easy link at all. Here's the watch and my 7.5-inch wrist. I think it looks really nice. It wears nice too. 147 grams. It's not too heavy. And it's just a nice looking watch. So I'm going to be really sad to see this one go. And I had to remove 2 links to fit on my 7.5-inch wrist. So you should be able to wear this if you're about 8 1/4. Anything bigger, you might need some more links. Of course, these links are easy to get. In fact, do what I did. I just ordered some extra Pagani Design bracelets. That way I always have extra links and extra screw pins if I ever lose any. They're not that expensive, and that way you know for sure you got the right size screw pins. Here we are in the Lume room. I'm shooting this test at an angle because the crown is Lume, so I wanted to include it. In the AliExpress ad, they were sure focusing on the Lume, so let's hope it is better than typical Pagani Design Lume. As we speed up the time, we see that the hands are the first to go, but that really doesn't matter since the dial is loomed, so they didn't need to be loomed anyway. The bezel and crown is next, with the home indicator being the strongest. Then the all-important dial has some legs to it, but is fading faster than the indices. Much better than your average Pagani Design, but a bit disappointing considering how much they hype it. What do I like about this watch? Well, I like the looks. I really like the multicolor. I like the white Lume dial. I like the fact that the bezel has a glass cover. Really sharp looking watch. And I just like the fact it wears nice. And yeah, it has a Lume crown. Sure, I like that too. I mean, there's not much point to it, but it's fun. And my channel is called Fun with Watches. What are my gripes and groans? The dial lume is not as strong as the index lume. I just wish the dial lume was just a hair stronger, because they're really focusing on the lume in the ad, and I really wish they would have made the dial lume stronger. Also, this is a limited edition with no markings indicating count or number, or no paperwork or anything saying it's a limited edition other than the AliExpress ad. So basically, when the AliExpress ad disappears because they no longer sell this watch, any evidence that it is a limited edition kind of disappears. And this is just for Pagani Design's sake, their Rolex style clasp with the Easy Link. It's kind of difficult to remove, or it's kind of difficult to use the Easy Link, and it's difficult to use the micro adjust. And since this isn't a true Rolex homage, I really wish they would have used a different clasp. Do I recommend this watch? Yes. I just think it looks great. Sure, you could get a PD1661 for much cheaper, but it wouldn't look as nice as this one. Just buy it because you like it, and don't buy it because it is a limited edition, because there really is nothing to prevent them from making more except for honesty and integrity. Well, thank you for watching my review of the Pagani Design PD1726, and I will be back with another review or unboxing. Be sure and like and subscribe to my channel. Bye.